I do think that's enough time to answer your question in Slack. Okay, there's that. I'm fading to black. We are starting in 5, 4, 3.
Like a gummy bear.
It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for January 31st, 2025. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, it just got a lot easier to dig through video game history, and one of Xbox's biggest franchises heads to PlayStation. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host to Game Mess Mornings. It's Jason Fanelli. Jason, how you doing?
I am feeling great. A happy and healthy go birds to you on this January 31st. It's out of my system. I won't do it again.
No, it's we need it now. We need you now more than ever.
That's true. God, we cannot allow this three-peat to happen. But no, actually, there's something right before that. I'm not quite there yet because the Royal Rumble has to happen first. I'm very excited tomorrow night. Royal Rumble's gonna be very good time. So yeah, just waiting for these things to happen. As the days go by, it gets closer and closer. I get more and more excited. I find myself sometimes not being able to stop thinking about it, because if I think about anything else that's going on, I get back into that funk that I'm trying to kick myself out of. But we're not going to start a Friday in a funk. We're going to be funking on a Friday with this news. Let's do it.
Yeah, we're going to do our best here. Yeah, there's plenty of fun stuff to talk about. Yeah, as you mentioned, some spotty stuff as well. We'll get through all of it. But yeah, I'm also looking forward to the Royal Rumble. I'm actually really looking forward to it. I have not been watching a lot of wrestling recently. It's like, the Royal Rumble is always such a great place to jump back on. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It will be a good time.
And after this broadcast, Mr. Grubb, I will get you your numbers, because I have number 15. For those that I don't know if I've talked about this on social media, but I run a little friendly wager with some pals. Royal Rumble has 30 entrants. I get 15 people. We pay a fee, and then I assign 2 numbers randomly using random.org to each of the 15 people for both matches, men's and women's. And if your number, the entrant that comes out at your number wins the Rumble, you win. Now this year, for the first time, if you're the runner-up, you also win a little bit. I haven't done that runner-up before. That's brand new. So I'm good to go. So after this, maybe in the post, I can do it live and give you your numbers.
Oh, that'd be great. Okay, yeah, fantastic. You have all 15 people locked in?
I do. Yes, the last one locked in just as we were starting up.
All right, good deal. I've sent you my money, so I'm very excited. It'll make it even that much more fun to watch. That's a good way to do it. Just random and let the fate decide.
Everything that goes in comes out. Unless I win, I don't keep it. You know what I mean? Like it's none of that crap. It's just a friendly little thing with some pals.
Good time. All right, well, let's explain what we do here. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings, or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Video Game History Foundation opens up free online access to 1,500 classic game mags and 30,000 historic files. We definitely talked about this a little bit yesterday, but it's fully out now. They've announced everything, all the details. People have had a chance to go through this, and I just wanted to give it one last little bit of shine because it really is fantastic. I had used it previously. I actually they used my clip from in the promo video and stuff. It's just really, really solid work. I am most excited personally about the video game magazine database. They have tons of back issues for so many various magazines. That's awesome. But they also just have all kinds of random material from game developers who handed over some of the stuff that they worked on and some of their personal development journals. And they uploaded that stuff, and there's hours worth of content. There's video content. There is clips of all the wrestlers from various games doing their introductions and stuff like that. And just the raw audio of that. So Important is definitely the word, but it's really fun to go through this stuff. Have you had a chance to take a look at it?
I did. I immediately went to old school Game Informer, like some of the old magazines that I had as a kid. There's one cover I'll never forget. It's just Pikachu for Super Smash Brothers. I read that thing cover to cover multiple times. The cover fell off, so it was nice to see the cover like right back where it belonged in this PDF. No, awesome stuff. And after talking with some of the curators on Blue Sky, I might be able to contribute a little bit. They have E3 digests from like
very cool.
And I have, and I've already gotten them out. Where are they? Right here. I still have, because I'm a degenerate, the daily E3
that's awesome.
magazines from 2014 and 2015 and some others. I can only find these. I think I have 2012 somewhere too. And my wife's been telling me to purge some crap out of here, so this will be a perfect way. I didn't want to throw it out because who knows, maybe somebody would want to use it. I'm going to send this and see if they can use it. They sent me a list of things that they specifically needed. Some of it's there, some of it's extra. If they want to use it as a backup, I don't care. They can have it. I just have to figure out how to get it to them. But this is awesome. It's so cool. I love it so much. And it's something that's needed, really, if for no other reason than research purposes, to be able to go back and find, like somebody, I think it was Chris Person, was talking about how he was just going back and looking for all of Itagaki's bitchy quotes because he felt like it, stuff like that now we can do. It's a little bit easier. It's at our fingertips. It's really, really neat stuff.
I mean, and it's a searchable database, right? It's not just like, okay, I got to go through here and look at these raw files. They've done a lot. I mean, this work is being done at the Video Game History Foundation by people who are professionals at collating and collecting and organizing this information. They know what they're doing, and that's why it's taken a long time. We first heard about this years ago, and they hired someone full time, and he just sits there and does all this work, and they've done a really good job of presenting it in a way where this will work very well for the video game historian on YouTube doing his videos. And it's going to work for anyone who just has a little bit of curiosity and wants to settle an argument about how people felt about a game when it came out 25 years ago. It could provide you with the Mike Minotti's biography from his one issue of EGM that he showed up in, where it says, Mike lost a lot of money this NFL season. Betting it all on the Lions wasn't the smartest move. Wow, that's below the belt. That's just a joke because they went 0-16. He never would have gambled and or bet on the Lions. He says, liking World of Warcraft Cataclysm, not liking carpal tunnel syndrome. And then, he's liking, not liking, and they always have a third funny thing. Arby's sauce, not just for roast beef sandwiches. You don't want to know what Mike uses Arby's sauce for, everybody.
I don't think I do, but as somebody points out in chat, that little black and white picture there should be the next emoticon,
okay.
I think.
Yeah, we do need another Mike emote for sure.
That's a great Arcana Mike or Mike Arcana, whatever you want to name it, or maybe Arby's sauce. I don't know.
Yeah, name it Arby's sauce. There you go. That's good.
That's fantastic. I have to look too. I don't know if they have some of the UK magazines yet, like Play UK. I'd never, until Game Informer, in 2023, I hadn't actually been in a American magazine, but I was in two in the UK, Games Master and Play UK. Sure. Play UK was back in 2014. I reviewed MLB The Show or something like that for PlayStation, the UK specifically. But Games Master, I did a feature on Cyberpunk that I still to this day have not seen in print.
Really?
I just sent it to them and then it was gone for me. So I got to see if that's in the archive too, see if I can dig that up.
Yeah, I imagine if these magazines are still going concerns, which a lot of UK magazines are, the copyright issue might be a little bit more sensitive there. So maybe they wouldn't do that. And I suspect that some of this material, especially the magazines, might still fall into that, even if they aren't a going concern anymore.
Right.
But for now, hey, I'm glad that they are they're charging ahead, saying that this is valuable. It is we are an online library, which they clearly are. And while that stuff not a ton of protections for that sort of concept these days, there should be. They're going to do this because it is the right thing to do. This is what the internet was always supposed to be. And the fact that they did this work and people are supporting it, I donate monthly. A lot of people do. This is going to turn out to be a crucial resource going forward. And I'm most of the time I'm just going to get the tablet. I'm going to go to this site, go through the awesome software that they've built to go through these magazines and just do it for fun most of the time. And then
absolutely
something will just be like spark it, and I'll be like, oh, you know what? I should go make a video based on just this one little tidbit here that I discovered because I was just having fun looking through old video game magazines.
Yeah, man.
There it is. What is
there? It is. It's done.
Yeah. What is the code for? Yeah, it is Arby's sauce. Yeah, that's good work, everybody. That was a team effort right there. New Mike emote in chat, everybody.
Friday funkin', love it.
I wonder if that will make him less mad at me for him losing in the draft yesterday. I actually won that, so
I gotta say it was a upset in my opinion. Sure. I really thought he had it just because it was PS1 over 64. So I don't know who you paid or but
I think a big part of it is like I'm sure a couple people did vote to make him upset, but a big part of it's like the N64's thing is like it's got a couple of really great games. So when you limit the scope of the library, we did a draft between PS1 and N64. People don't understand what I'm talking about. When you limit the scope of the library and you can't go to the depth that the PlayStation 1 has, the N64 stands a slightly better chance. Also, some people are just going to be like, give me Super Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time over everything. There are going to be a lot of people who feel that way.
Yeah.
And not according to Mike. Mike just thinks he lost because people thought it was funny. Okay, let's see here. Forza Horizon 5 is the next Xbox game to speed onto PlayStation 5. This is from Jason Fanelli at GameSpot.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, this I don't know if we could trust this one. After porting a few of its first-party titles to PlayStation and Switch last year, the first multi-platform move for Xbox in 2025 has been revealed. Playground Games and Turn 10 Studios have announced that Forza Horizon 5 will be racing to PlayStation this spring. The PlayStation 5 version will be developed by Panic Button, whose previous work can be seen in games like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Forza Horizon 5, and Apex Legends. They're a port house. They do a lot of ports. In fact, they're very good at porting things to Switch. I mean, man, I wouldn't be surprised if Forza Horizon 2 launches later this spring on a Switch 2. That would not surprise me at all.
Nope.
This is one of the big three. For Xbox, right? Forza, Halo, Gears of War has been their big three for a while. I'm sure people could argue that, whatever, but really that's been the reality for quite some time, is they're always working on a Forza, always working on a Halo, and always working on a Gears of War. This really just does put a stamp on, or, an exclamation point on the end of the sentence of Xbox games are coming to PlayStation, and that means all Xbox games, right?
Absolutely. And this one in particular, because PlayStation has a very real competitor in its Gran Turismo franchise. So for me, that's why I always separated the two and how Forza would always be on Xbox, because it would be going into Gran Turismo's turf. And are the Gran Turismo players going to be as accepting to it on its home console? Now, I guess we're going to find out. I find it interesting that it's just 5 and not 5 and 4. But I guess it's easier to port on the current console and
I think
leave the previous console behind.
Any sort of older Forza game, even the Horizon ones, have licensing issues.
Just PlayStation 5, not PS5 and PS4.
Oh, my bad. Okay. And now I get what you're saying. Yes. Yeah, you're right, because Forza Horizon 5, was that an Xbox One game?
4 was 5. Yeah, 5 was.
Okay.
I did look that up. 5 was.
Okay.
Because I was looking it up to see how the cross-play would work. 5 was on Xbox One.
Okay.
So
yeah,
I found that on the Forza blog. It did say that.
Okay.
So that just kind of made me wonder, why is it PS4 only? Like, why isn't PS4 also? Excuse me.
Yeah. I
I'm wondering.
They're probably just right at the cusp of, hey, we got to pay Panic Button to do this.
Sure.
What's really going to be worth it? And I think Forza Horizon 5, focused on PlayStation 5, will, can command a premium price, get that audience that's really going to be going for it. And there aren't a ton of open world, arcadey style racing games that also have the sort of cachet of the Forza series. So it's like, and it still has that awesome realistic physics and the depth of a traditional Forza motorsport in there. And so I think they're like, hey, we think we can do just fine just selling to people who have PS5s right now at this moment. That makes some sense to me now. Had it been last year, I think this definitely would have been on the PS4. But now it feels like it's been just long enough. And even Sony's talking about finally started putting some PS4 stuff in the rearview mirror. So I think that makes sense. Next we probably, like, Gears of War E-Day is still coming. That they probably just eventually announce that's going to get some sort of like maybe timed exclusive on Xbox and then comes to PlayStation 6 months later.
Yeah, I think that eventually somewhere down the line you'll see day and date both consoles from Xbox first party. But I don't think it's anything we know about now. I don't even think they're thinking about that yet. I think anything that they put on now will be timed exclusive, like how Indiana Jones was. We knew that Indiana Jones was coming to PS5 before it launched on Xbox, but we also knew that there would be a sizable amount of time in between the two. As Mike IP or Mike Gipp puts out in the chat, Halo Master Chief Collection seems inevitable.
Oh yeah,
that's that more so than Infinite. I think Master Chief Collection just seems like an absolute lock for PlayStation before the end of this year.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I think it's probably
they're going to keep doing this.
Could easily be a Switch 2 launch game as well. Like that feels like something that they are going to get ready for that. And I think,
oh, that would be wild.
Yeah, it's gonna be strange. But also, it's like that we're just here now. Like this, there is no red line. They've said that a bunch of times now, where it's like these games can never come to PlayStation, can never come to the Nintendo Switch or Switch 2. That's gone. That's done with. And it's like at a certain point, like why, delay it? Why sort of just like tiptoe around what's going to happen eventually? Like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years out, it'll be much more easy to imagine a Halo launching on PlayStation. So why not just do it now? Just get it over with. If that's where you're headed, just jump to the conclusion. And I think that's what they're talking about internally, where it's like we keep having these debates and people have their feelings about this and they think it's weird. And of course it's weird. It's only going to be weird though until it's not. And I think they are just they're sprinting towards let's make it not weird by just doing this and treating it as normal. Also, I think we know why Phil Spencer was doing the rounds on Xbox podcast last week, right?
Yes, because they were getting ready to announce this.
Yes.
As far as like just getting to the, I do think the slowly getting to that point kind of makes sense because you can enjoy two different launch day surges in income, I guess you would call that. Whereas if you just launch it all in just one big one, and you also too invite the inevitable. It's sold better on PlayStation than your own console, jerks. And if you can stave them off for as long as possible, why don't you do that? But yes, I do think eventually something will launch day and date from Xbox first-party studios on both consoles of these big three. Doom probably May 15th, right? I believe that's technically a day and date for both. Yeah, that is very soon. So talking about like these big ones, yeah, it's inevitable at this point. And also, too, to go back to the Gran Turismo comparison, somebody pointed out in chat, I think it was Dan Fiasco, Horizon and Motorsport are two different things. Motorsport is more of the GTA direct competitor, whereas Horizon is sort of its own thing. So to bring Horizon as the first Forza on PlayStation does make a lot of sense.
And it's also it's such a good game. And it's fun. That's going to do very well on PlayStation. It's going to sell very well. I mean, it's one of those games that on Xbox, when it launched on there, between Xbox and Steam, I suppose, it was going to be in Game Pass. It was like, this is a huge, successful game. It's going to be in Game Pass in like a week, but people still showed up. Like 2 or 3 million people bought the $100 version to play it a week early. And that is a lot of people just to be on, like, and especially just on Xbox and Steam. So I imagine if that demand can be transferred in any way, it's maybe not going to be 1-to-1, but transferred over to PlayStation, there's going to be a lot of people being like, man, I wish I would have played this or wish I would have had access to it. And now that I do, I don't have to be weird about it. I could just play it on my PlayStation. So, I think that, in a couple of years, a year and a half, 2 years, we'll be able to look at the PlayStation and see all the Xbox games on there. And if Microsoft suddenly said, hey, Sony, could we do a version of Game Pass on PlayStation that only has Xbox games in it? That does seem like something that would be viable. Jason, I'm of the opinion, though, that they are not so gung-ho about trying to get Game Pass on everything anymore. It seems like that's
I would agree with
an
that.
older strategy now, right?
Yeah, I think it's more about the getting like the cloud. This is an Xbox sort of thing, getting their games on as many platforms as possible.
And it's an Xbox. You can buy Xbox games on there as well. Like, and you don't have to get it through Game Pass. You could just buy the Xbox games, and that's what they mean by that campaign as well.
Mm-hmm. So, and it still remains to be seen. I don't think it's ever been clearly denoted whether Game Pass is a boon or a bust, both internally and for the companies that put their stuff on there. We've heard reports from different studios, but as far as like a broad yes or no, I think the jury's still sort of out. I don't think
complicated.
Quite there yet.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more complicated than it works or it doesn't, at least.
Yes.
So that also too is why I think they kind of steered away from everyone should subscribe to Game Pass and this everything that you own is an Xbox. So go buy, Halo for your smart fridge or what have you. And that way it gets people to either buy the games outright, like you said, or if they want to subscribe, if they prefer that, they have that choice too. The shift in branding is definitely noticeable.
Yeah, I think, I don't think Game Pass is going to go away. It is I think Phil Spencer kind of just answered the question a few years ago. He says it's 15% of our business, and we project it will continue to always be 15% of our business. So, I don't know. Obviously, it took some of there was some, sort of exchange there where some of that 15% came from people who were previously buying games. But I think the idea is like, okay, well, fine, but we can make up for that by now selling games on PlayStation. And we're not just going to make up for that. We're going to far surpass where we were before. And a big part of that is they have Call of Duty and things like that sell very well no matter where they are. So they're just in a completely different situation than they were when they launched Game Pass. All right, let's keep moving here. MultiVersus' 5th season will be its last, with the game being delisted at the end of May. This is from Chris Scullion at VGC. The upcoming 5th season of MultiVersus will be its last, the game's developer has confirmed. And this is a quote now, "After careful consideration, our next season will serve as the final seasonal content update for the game," a statement on the game's blog reads. Season 5 will run from February 5th until May 30th, at which point the game will go offline and will be delisted from the PlayStation Store, Microsoft Store, Steam, and Epic Games Store. All online features will continue to be available until Season 5 concludes on May 30th at 9 a.m. Pacific Time. The statement reads, "At that point, there will be an option to play MultiVersus offline via local gameplay mode, either solo against AI opponents or with up to 3 friends. To do this, you'll need to install/download the latest version of the game and log in during Season 5 anytime between February 4th at 9 a.m. PST and May 30th at 9 a.m. PST. So if you want to keep this game, you got to do some homework and make sure you get that done by this date. You'll have to wait for that final version to be updated in the first place. So, yeah, not too shocking, right? This was a game that never seemed to really find the sprinting run that Warner Brothers wanted it to find, right?
Yeah, I think they felt like they were going to fill a void by the absence of Ultimate, with Super Smash Brothers being finished in 2021, and then this starting its beta phase in 2022. Ultimately, I think we're going to look back on this as the hiatus they took from June 2023 till May of 2024 as a bad idea, because people were given time to forget about it.
Oh, yeah.
I personally think this sucks. I really enjoyed this game. This is one of the live service games that I really dug into. Like I did a lot of previews on it. I spent a lot of time in this game. Spent not decent amount of money, but I spent some money on the Gleamium currency that now I no longer can purchase. I could still use what might still be in my account, but I can't purchase it anymore. That kind of sucks.
That's true across the board. That's where they're saying if you have it, you can use it. You cannot buy more premium currency at the moment. Yes.
And you won't be refonded.
And you will not be refunded if you don't use it. So just use it, and then that's a rough one.
Yeah, it's not great. The last season starts next week, and honestly, one of my first thoughts when I read this news was they're adding Lola Bunny as one of the last 2 characters in this game. So they're not going to be able to take advantage of the potential market of Lola fans, let's say, because they've already gotten rid of the currency. So, oops.
Well, I mean, the answer there, Jason, of course, would be like, okay, well, we can't make that or have people buy that premium. So why don't we just unlock that everybody who buys the game now, like buys the game from Steam as a video game, and just put all of that premium stuff in the game? It doesn't sound like they're even doing that, though.
No, if you don't, it sounds to me, and I will investigate this. I didn't have a chance to put it on. if you do not unlock these characters by May 30th, you may not be able to, which is
that's crazy.
Absurd. That's crazy to me. I will verify that once I get into the game and actually take a look at it. I hadn't had a chance to do that this morning when this broke, but because it says you can still use your Gleamium, the currency, you can still use the character tickets that you can earn. Now, if you can still earn them and be able to unlock everybody, fine. But it also says, too, on May 30th, offline will still be available versus AI and local multiplayer. If that still allows you to unlock the in-game currency to buy the tickets to unlock the characters, fine.
Okay.
I don't know that yet. Like I said, if that chain is still there, then not a big deal. The full content and all the characters are available. But if not, I would be pissed. You're literally saying, like, I didn't get a chance to play season 4, so I don't have Raven or Marceline, and you're telling me that if I can't unlock them on May 30th, I'm never going to get them?
Yeah,
like, what's the point of that? It makes no sense to me at all. Definitely sounds like an up here decision, not a developer decision. Zaslav strikes again, but it kills me because the roster's really cool, and I feel like it's still, despite how many characters they had a lot of untapped potential as people they could have added. Like Cartoon Network is under their jurisdiction. Adult Swim is under the jurisdiction. Yes, you have Rick and Morty, but there's so much more you could have pulled from, like Nathan Explosion from Death Clock and MultiVersus. Yes, please. Never going to happen now. Stuff, and then there's like other DC characters, and it's just things that I could go on for hours talking about the different places they could have gone. But here we are, yet again, a live service game, ambitious, can't keep the player base. Little bit of extra screwiness in this one with the going away and coming back.
Deeply mismanaged. Like
yes.
I think we look around, and at a certain point, it's like, man, all video games are mismanaged to the point where it seems like everyone in charge does not understand them on a fundamental level. But there's situations like this where it's like clear from the outset, they're trying to make this into something it simply cannot be, as this big live service take on, hey, what if Smash Brothers was Fortnite, but only with Warner Brothers characters? Okay, no. That's not going to work, honey. I'm sorry. I don't know why you don't know that. I guess it's because you're David Zaslav and you just don't know. But fine, you're going to go for that. But wait, now you're going to monetize the beta and then take that offline when clearly that was such a lie. These days, most of the time they're lying when they're saying it's beta. It's been a marketing thing since Call of Duty 4's marketed its beta as something you could get a code with and whatever. We understand that, but still. You got very aggressive in that and then took it away, let people forget about it, let people move on, and to learn that you could take it away again. And guess where we are now? Yeah, it was always a mess. So
what was the point? It was going for almost a full year. I believe it was June 30th that they pulled it the first time, maybe sooner, and it relaunched May 29th. You cannot do that for a game, especially a live service game where you're expecting constant month-over-month user, at the very least stagnation, but also growth. You don't want to lose players, and the best way to and it had such a push when that first beta came out. I remember watching a competitive tournament at freaking Evo.
Yeah.
Evo was backing this thing, and they fumbled the bat. It kills me. It kills me to no end that this game is dying on May 30th. It makes no damn sense.
Meanwhile, we got the two of those Nickelodeon All-Star Battle games or whatever, and they could easily just make a third and just sell that as it's. I mean, clearly there's a way to do these things, but you have to keep expectations in check, and Warner Brothers is not in the business of keeping expectations in check.
They are not.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got a little bit more data about the global gaming market. There's some Sims news, maybe, and those PS5 Classic Anniversary themes. What's going on with those right after this? All right, let's pop right back into it. The games market is mature and double-digit growth is a fantasy. This is from Reese Elliott at Media Research. Shout out to Reese for sending this over to me. The games market is mature, so double-digit growth is a fantasy, and the industry will only see slight growth going forward. These are the key takeaways from the report that is available at Media Research. 2025 growth is mostly in line with inflation, so basically, flat for all intents and purposes, as he puts it. The global games market research, the global games market's revenue, including software, hardware, and subscriptions, will reach $236.9 billion in 2025, up 4.6% year on year, against the backdrop of IMF's projected 2025 global inflation rate of 4.2%. So essentially flat. Software revenues will reach $203.2 billion in 2025, with a tailwind from several premium releases, including potentially Grand Theft Auto 6, Switch 2 launch window games, and other highly anticipated games like Monster Hunter Wilds and Assassin's Creed Shadows. The Switch 2 launch will help console hardware return to growth in 2025 to up around 8.4% year over year to $20.6 billion. That follows a sharp decline of 20% in 2024. And that was due to a lot of things: Switch, Xbox struggling, PS5 even being down double digits year over year, things like that. The global number of gamers will keep growing, but ARPU, there it is, that's my favorite, average revenue per paying user, will slightly decrease over time due to growing gamer numbers in emerging markets. The oversaturation of live service games will see the developer pendulum swing back towards premium games on console and PC. In-game spending will continue to dominate software revenues in 2025 with a market share of 68%. Due to the live service space oversaturating and developers regrouping toward premium games, in-games shares of revenues will decrease to 67% towards 2031. Finally, the mega budget strategy will slow down in favor of shorter budgets outside of the live service incumbents and a few select prestige studios. So, okay, Jason, I think let's shorten what was said here. Again, like this is available on Media Research. People probably should go look into it. They did a lot of work to kind of set the tone for what publishers and people with the money are feeling about the video game industry overall. And what the short version of this is that live service was the strategy. It has clearly backfired for a lot of people, and at the very least, it is not some winning ticket every time, and it has scared a lot of people off. And when it blows up, it can blow up massively in your face. Mm-hmm. So these companies are going to ground now, and when they go to ground, they are deciding, okay, what are we going to do with our investments going forward? Well, all the big investments we just made did blow up, so we kind of need to think more short term, and therefore we cannot make big, massive budget games. We need to start thinking about some more quick hits, things that we can get done in 2 to 3 to 4 years, as opposed to 4, 5, 6, 7 years. And I'm hopeful that this means some good games in a lot of different variety of genres for us, Jason. I think that is the positive look at it. I think that maybe the pessimistic look would be this is going to be a flash in the pan, and all these companies, after Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, all the investors will be like, where's your Grand Theft Auto 6? And we'll be right back to where we were in a couple of years, right?
Yeah, that is always the thought, the worry that the people who like money always want more money, and they're going to see what Rockstar does, and those God-forsaken astronomical numbers that's going to hit, and they're going to say, you do that for us, when that's just not how things work. I would like to think that they would have some sort of, common sense after the last couple of years and the bleeding that this industry has done, both in numbers and in talent. You have to understand the talent is not there anymore most of the time because you've laid off so many people. If that talent wants to make their own indie studio, and that's where we start to see a little more growth, then great. But as far as the big ones go, yes, I would like to see some 2 to 3 year development cycle, smaller, perhaps even single player adventures. I feel like we might be getting back into the narrative single player experience sort of age. There are some there are some exceptions to that, and maybe I'm a homer, but fighting games will always be there, like that sort of like online plus local multiplayer appeal of like a Street Fighter or a Marvel vs. Capcom, stuff like that will always have appeal, but it's never going to be your headliner. I think honestly Capcom is a blueprint here, aren't they? They really are a blueprint. Someone said a while back that a home run is only worth one unless you load the bases with singles and doubles first.
Yeah.
And ever since I've heard that, it has sat in my. That's another good example. Dan Fiasco once again, RGG at Sega. Another great example of doing smaller things. Now, granted, the games aren't small. Infinite Wealth is huge.
Yeah, but they're also making side games, and they're making fighting games. They make a variety of games, and they when they do make their big games, they're using strategies to reuse assets in a way that no one complains about ever, because it means getting the same characters in the same spot that they fell in love with. It is absolutely a blueprint.
Yes. So going back to Capcom, Monster Hunter Wilds, consensus #1 overall fantasy critic pick for anybody I've talked to. That game's going to be gangbusters, but they have a Capcom Direct or Capcom Showcase coming out next week. Marvel vs. Capcom, which already came out, is going to feature because it's probably going to hit Xbox. So they're going to talk about that. They have another fighting game collection, which is just another compilation of their classic stuff to get it back in your mind so that when they announce the third Capcom versus SNK, you're going to know what it is and be excited for it. Maybe I'm dreaming there, but that's what I think they're doing there. Onimusha, that game's in 2026, but we're going to start seeing it now. Pragmata may still exist. What the hell is that? Who knows what that is? and then there's Resident Evil, like on the horizon too, right? There's like RE9. I'm seeing rumors every single day. I saw one that it's going to be the end of the Mega Mice Seat storyline that's going from 7 and 8, and it's going to star Leon and Jill. That was a rumor that I saw. I think that last part's wishful thinking, but I do think it'll be the end of the saga here. As what they're doing now, that could happen anytime soon. I don't see how other companies, particularly in Japan, aren't looking at what Capcom has been doing since Monster Hunter World, let's say, and thinking, all right, what do we have in our portfolio that we could feasibly do something like this? It's going to take time. It's going to take effort. But how do we do this? And for other companies, how do we maybe bring in other like firms to help us out with this? SNK, great example of this. They're doing their own thing in the fighting game scene, but they brought in, I think it was Dotemu, to help them with Metal Slug. And you get that Metal Slug Tactics game that was pretty good. That's their franchise back in the front of people's minds with a very good game, different from what they used to be, but it still brings back the name Metal Slug. Don't be surprised. And they already said that Samurai Showdown is coming back, but not as a fighting game, as a action RPG, which sounds to me like Samurai Souls. Yes, please. Stuff like that. I think a big opportunity now for game companies across the board is not just trying to find those games in your portfolio and bringing them back, but bringing them back in a new and different context. Like seeing a franchise that has been around for a while, but putting it in a different way. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, great example.
Yeah.
That's a Metroidvania, but now we know 4 is coming too. So you'll get Ragebound, you'll get the classic Ninja Gaiden out of your system if you're not already done playing Ninja Gaiden 2 Black right now, and then 4 going to hit you in the face. That, awesome. Whoever's managing the Ninja Gaiden portfolio at Koei Tecmo right now, doing a good job. Keep that up. I think that is the way forward.
Yeah,
I think that's the way forward.
I think so, and I think when you look at Capcom, it's not like, okay, we need to match what they're doing one for one. It like just take the strategy and then do your own thing with it. If that means like if you're a Western publisher and you are like, okay, how can we make this work? I think it's like, okay, well, EA, you do have NBA Jam, and you do have a lot of like SSX, things that you could invest in and get done much more quickly. Don't feel like you have to make them the biggest games in the world. Make them super solid, and make them in a way like where maybe they would have been $40 games. Just put a little extra smudge, charge $60 to $70 for them, and I bet most people still show up as long as they just have super solid gameplay, a lot of style, and like fun online multiplayer, not live service churn. And so it's like, I think that there is room for that stuff to pop up again. And I don't think it's going to last. It probably won't, but that doesn't mean we can't get a lot of fun, good games over the next couple of years while these big publishers try to figure out what they're going to do next. And I'm hopeful on that side, at least. Good.
And one of those fun, good games could be a sales like gangbuster, breaking down the doors, breaking all kinds of records. You don't know unless you try. Remember, like, was it 2007 to 2011? We got all those brand new IPs.
Yep.
People were trying. That's where Dead Space came from. Speaking of EA, hell, you're talking about yesterday. BioWare was a big point of the news, right? With their bet and everything on Mass Effect. You mean to tell me that EA, who owns all of BioWare's IP, can't find another studio in their portfolio to give us a Jade Empire? There ain't nobody else that can work on that and bring that game back. Like, it doesn't have to be a sequel. It could be a remaster. It could be just something else in that world. There's a ton of people that I've heard. There's 10 of us. There's dozens of us who would like to see Jade Empire again. Just try it. Now is the time to get away, like you said, from live service churn and take these franchises that you have and experiment with them. You're not going to know what to do. You're not going to know what's going to succeed unless you throw some stuff at the wall and see what sticks. And you might have one flagship franchise now, but hey, you might put out a couple of games and all of a sudden you have 2 or 3. That, to me, is the way it should happen. But like you said, Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to come out and make $1 billion in the first week or whatever it is, and all the CEOs are going to see dollar signs and say, make this happen. They're going to overhire again, and then the games are going to I'll just stop there because it's going to make me mad. But yeah, it's hard not to see it that way, but you and I have been around this industry far too long to not know that that is a distinct and very real possibility.
Yep. I think this industry very similar to the way things work in the world with the like nature, where it just fills up the space given to it, and then it just takes all the oxygen out of the room, or it just becomes, or there's just so much detritus built up that you kind of can't do something different until it all burns down. Like, and so a forest fire has to come through and burn through this industry like it is right now, and then they look around and be like, oh, look at all this fertile ground to do something different with after everything's been just demolished. So someone in chat made that reference, made that a metaphor, and I thought that was very, very good. Okay, let's keep going here. PS5's classic anniversary themes are leaving, but won't be gone forever. This is from George Yang at GameSpot. PlayStation celebrated its 30th anniversary last December and released several PS5 themes commemorating the occasion. Now the themes are leaving tomorrow, January 31st, but won't be gone for good. That is today, by the way. Thank you for the fantastic response to the classic PlayStation, PS2, PS3, and PS4 limited time console themes, which will be leaving tomorrow, PlayStation said on Twitter. Due to the positive response on these 4 themes, we're doing some work behind the scenes to bring these special designs back in the months ahead. So, hey, that's a win. I love these things. They were very good. It was very nice to see that they are planning to bring it back, and I would continue to use these on my PlayStation 5 personally, because, boy, it's nice when you boot up a console and it makes that PS1 sound.
Just, man, that first time that happened, I think my older daughter Olivia was with me, and it happened, and I went like, I made that face, that, oh my God, like the nostalgia face that just washes over you, and she's like, Dad, what's wrong with you? I'm like, stop it. You will never understand what's going on here. It's fitting that we're talking about this, 2 or 3 stories after MultiVersus, right? We're going to make it go away. I'm going to come back. And you know what this says to me? They're not going away. They'll be back, but you're going to goddamn pay for them, aren't you?
You might be right.
You want them back? We let you taste. But you want them back? Give us $6 or whatever they cost for a.
We just couldn't figure out how to do it any other way. It's like, we know you could do it. We saw you do it for free.
Yeah, I think it was Nikki just said in chat, I don't know why this tree keeps getting cut down, man with holding chainsaw.
Yeah, that is the entire video game industry.
But why? What are we doing here? I mean, you could say that about Sony in general right now, right? God of War live service?
Sure.
Fucking please. But this... I'm getting shoot hot here. It's a shoot hot Friday. No longer funkin'. We're shoot hot. Why are they getting away with it? Why are they going away? Do they have to go away? Who made that rule?
Yeah.
Is someone holding, did Jim Ryan retire because they have him in a shed and we're not letting him out until you get rid of these? What's going on here? Why do they have to go away?
I do wonder why in the first band they said it would. They said it was a limited time, when they first did it. So maybe they're like, well, we got to keep true to that word. But I don't know. Just be like, oh, you loved it so much. Just keep using it. They control the buttons they press, as Id once said. So I wish just push the button to let us keep it for now. But again, at least it's coming back. even if you're right, then maybe they probably will make us
starting
pay
to
for
think that the button presser at Sony is the Silent Hill 2 secret ending.
it.
Just a dog at the controls hitting all the buttons.
All right, let's keep going here. What is esports? Okay. People keep sending in news. Thank you, everybody. Trying to keep on top of that. Someone did send in news about this next one. Official Sims website drowns you in 2000s nostalgia. This is from Malcolm Poole at DualShockers. Your sim died. It was not painless. This is a message from a real Sims website. If left inactive for too long, the message is written entirely in Comic Sans, with only the title of the faux pop-up Grim being capitalized. That's just a pop-up. The rest of the site is so much more. It plays a sound when it first loads, and another when you hover your mouse over the options. You need the www at the start of the URL. You'll get an error otherwise, and the activities. So many activities. For example, you can like take a picture of yourself with the webcam, and they'll put the diamond above your head and everything.
The Plumb Bob, I believe is the name of it.
Yes, exactly.
Plumb Bob.
Good old Plumb Bob. Hey, they just released Sims 1 plus 2. I don't think it's remasters. I don't even really know how they are framing these, but they have re-released Sims 1 and 2. I think each includes some DLC. This just happened while we were live, but this is what this website is all about, that they are re-releasing those games. So hey, yeah, that's fun. I wonder how much that audience is like ready to go back to Sims 1 and 2. They seem very much invested still in Sims 4. But EA, at the very least, is like ready to kind of go very hard on growing the Sims one way or the other, and this seems to be part of that strategy.
I don't think they're worried too. I don't think they're too focused on the Sims 4 audience. I think they're focused on the Sims 1 and 2 people who fell off because it started to get too complicated.
Yes.
Myself included. It's like, I love Sim 1. I played the hell out of that. But eventually Sims 2, I was like, and then Sims 3 and 4, my PC, I couldn't run it. So tried it on console, wasn't the same, and that was the end of me. But I love them. I love like Space Jam 1995, old school website sort of stuff. So that the fact that they went this route, nostalgia bait, as Malcolm calls it, love that idea. I think it's really, really cool. And they are out now, right? They're re-releases that has happened.
I think they're available on Steam for $40 as a bundle right this moment.
Oh, okay. So you get them both. That's not bad, actually. Both $20 each. That's more than I would I would expected $40 each, but we've been really cynical today, so I don't want to press on that too much. But no, this is great. I hope more re-releases come with more nostalgic stuff like this, especially any reference to old school internet before the world decided it was all about making money back in the good old days works for me. Like the AOL Instant Messenger, or if you were like me, CompuServe, those days, right into my veins. Do it.
Yeah, this is you're right. This is like a good way to like capitalize on how people probably felt about these games and how they felt about the world at the time. And I will be surprised if this game like comes out unscathed. My expectation is Sims 1 and 2 fans will be expecting one thing, and maybe they're not going to get all of that with this collection. And there maybe not anger, but there will be some scene drama in the Sims scene. But yeah, whatever. This is usually these companies just forget about these things entirely and move on. You and other people in chat pointed out, listen, they just want to like remind the Sims audience that these games existed. Come back and play these if you're not into Sims 4. And then maybe they're going forward. They're like, hey, the new Sims stuff that we have coming down the pipeline, they say it's not Sims 5, something new. Maybe you will get excited about that. And especially since it'll be a new entry point, maybe you'll feel more comfortable hopping in at that point. So yeah, I think this is cool. I played Sims 1. That's the one I played. I kind of am always in the mood to check out one of these, but at this point, I think I probably would just go check out Sims 4.
I think this is something I would let my kids play.
Yeah,
kids check out. You know what I mean? Like,
my kids only play the herbs, of course, and My Sims Agent. Jeff,
Sims in this city.
Yeah, Jeff Green's My Sims Agent. All right, let's get through these last handful of stories. Nintendo 64, Nintendo Switch Online adds Ridge Racer 64. This happened last night. Ridge Racer 64, not the best Ridge Racer. A little bit slow. Doesn't have the immaculate CD audio of Ridge Racer Type 4 or its brethren. But still, hey, Ridge Racer on a Switch. And part of me is like, man, just the fact that they are treating this as a big solo release on Switch Online. Maybe something could still happen again with Ridge Racer, and I'm hoping like, oh, this is a precursor to a launch game, Ridge Racer for Switch 2. Probably not, but I would love to see that.
Yeah, probably not. In fact, I think I'd rather see them maybe do like a collection of sorts.
That'd be great.
Like
too.
all the old Ridge
awesome.
Racers. If anything, you get Type 4, which can you really beat Type 4? The game's great.
No, not really.
Just put that all in one bundle onto the Switch 2 or something like that. I think that is a franchise worthy of compilation, not just because the games are good, but because of the meme. All you have to do is put a trailer out that says Ridge Racer Collection. Done. Sells millions of copies. The old folks, the new folks. Yeah. John Cena's winning the Rumble, Dan. So just putting that out there. But yeah, I think this is cool that they're putting on there. More obscure Nintendo 64 stuff, please. More of like this is obscure, but like don't just give me the mainline
It's
Nintendo.
lesser.
Don't give me this. Yeah. Don't give me the Nintendo 64 games that Jeff Grubb would draft in a Game Mess Decides draft.
Exactly.
Give me the ones, like, call me when War Gods is there, right?
Yeah.
Call me when that weird stuff is there.
Yeah, honestly, that's the character of the N64. It's the stuff I wouldn't draft. I mean, I didn't draft most of the games that I think are the most fun to play. So, or the ones I think of first, like Shadows of the Empire and then, like Excite Bike. Yeah, Blast Core, Excite Bike 64. Yeah, stuff like that. But then there are another tier below that that's like, these are just weird games. And it's not a massive library. So I get that this is a difficult thing of like, okay, which of these 200 games are we going to put on here? But hey, sure. Ridge Racer 64, very cool. At least it's worth checking out just as a piece of history. Speaking of worth checking out, the cult classic Cho Aniki is now available for Switch. This is from Marcus Persson at Game Reactor. The crazy cult classic Cho Aniki has long been a bit of a unicorn here in the West, something you may have seen in pictures and heard about, but which has been difficult to get hold of and play. But don't despair, because now the game and its sequel have finally reached our waters and are available to buy digitally for Switch. The collection, which consists of Cho Aniki and Cho Aniki, have already been released in Japan, something that was achieved after a successful crowdfunding campaign, and includes, as it should, some improvements compared to the original PC Engine versions. For people that don't know, this is the game where it's like greased up bodybuilder dudes flying through space in a horizontal shooter, just shooting other greased up muscly dudes. It was always one of these. It was usually a punchline in video game magazines in the 90s when they were like, this is gay, isn't that funny? And now it's like, holy shit, this is gay and that's awesome, look how crazy this is. Listen, everybody, we see it. Cho Aniki, Choa Nikki.
Oh, Aniki.
I've already put in Slack that they have to play this. Now I can only pressure them so much. Chat, right. You can pressure them to really make this happen soon. In fact, I think it should happen next week. So let's see if we can make something beautiful happen on this website, especially before Twitch makes it be like, yeah, you're not allowed to play Cho Aniki. Who knows? So yeah, I want to see this happen. I'm very excited. I've always wanted to play Cho Aniki. I'm going to get this because it's like, man, that's so... In the 90s, it's like, I didn't even know you were allowed to do this. It was right. Like, yeah. And now it's like, well, right. Of course. And I need to see it for myself. All right. Last thing here. Holy hell. Yeah. Oh, no. Someone added something. Holy hell. Steam players say don't buy Spider-Man 2 on PC until it's fixed. A lot of performance issues with the game. People,
Sounds like it's not great.
Sounds like it's not great. This is it. Yeah. The PlayStation port, pipeline to PC has been mostly solid recently, but it's had its spotty record in the past. It seems like this is one of these ones that just kind of, hey, we want to get this out by this date no matter what, and it wasn't ready. I imagine they will update it over time and improve it, but, just to give a reference point, the Steam Deck websites are saying, it works, and that's cool, but maybe don't get it for the Steam Deck quite yet. Wait for some improvements. And then people are saying, like, hey, even with a 4090, I have significant technical problems. That is, some of the reviews on Steam are saying that. So don't think you could just brute force your way through this. It seems to be just fundamental to how the game works at the moment.
I like the quote, hold off on buying till they get a couple of stabilization patches out because holy hell.
Yes.
That sums it up for me. Now, having been someone who played this on console, it doesn't really affect me all that much. I'm not going to go play it again. I got other stuff to do. But for the first timers who only play on PC, who are watching this and really wanting it, I could see how this could be very, very frustrating.
Yes.
So I sympathize with them, but at the same time, I'm like, ouch. Like, we can't really say too much about it. But I've also been a console guy, so my PC sympathy is, a little, oh my God.
Right? It was terrifying. I'm sorry for audio listeners. We're playing a clip from the game where it's just a cutscene from Spider-Man 2, and then Aunt May bursts in the room, and she is like completely covered in white paint and doesn't have eyeballs and is terrifying. A creature from the damnedest places of hell.
She looks like she's wearing a mask of her own face.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on?
Yeah, Michael Myers' Aunt May. That's exactly what we have going on here.
He looks like a Teletubby. Yeah. Some guy named Pocado in the chat.
And that's like, she bursts into the room too. So imagine playing this and not expecting anything weird at all, and that happens, and I would be dead. The person that posted it said, "Thank God Steam has a recording feature now." And it's like, yeah, that's good stuff.
Somebody used the emote of Tam with the blinding light.
Yeah. That's a really good one. Oh, I like that a lot. Okay, let's see here. We'll move this around here. Okay. All right. Am I going to do this last story? I suppose I am.
No.
A life-size.
I would like to know who put it there.
A life-size 5-foot Pokemon Gardevoir plush is going on sale next week. This is from Chris. This is from Jordan Midler's basement, and that's crossed out. Instead said Chris Scullion at VGC. As reported by PokeShopper, the Pokemon Center store will be selling a life-sized Gardevoir plush from February 6th at 10 a.m. Japan time. The Gardevoir plush is 160 centimeters long, around 5 feet 3 inches, matching the official height listed in the Pokédex, and will cost $320. It weighs around 5 kilograms and is shown in official videos, photos, sitting on a chair and standing in the corner of a room, and people are going to be weird with it.
Yeah, somebody. Congratulations to Sean for finally having a prom date.
Yeah, there you go, Sean.
Good luck with that. Well, holy God! But I can't do the life size. I can't. No, that scares the hell out of me. No. That's not for me. I could maybe like a life size like Pikachu is real
Snorlax.
Small.
That life-size Snorlax that is a beanbag is such an awesome.
Yes.
I would sleep on Snorlax. Of course I would.
When I went to Japan, that had just come out, and they had it in one of the Pokemon centers, and I kind of laid next to it for a picture. That thing is huge. It's like the size of me. That I could have sat on that and been completely comfortable. It's very, very cool. But the poll right now. I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
Oh, no, I haven't seen it. What's happening here?
Who's weirder?
Who's weirder, Dan, Mike, or Turbo Sean? 0 votes for Mike right now. He's going to love that. Only 15 for Dan and 65 for Turbo Sean. Congratulations, Turbo Sean.
But yeah, there's a market for these. I'm not it, but there's a market for these. Jordan Midler apparently is in the market for one. Sean is going turbo for one of these. But great. Good for you. I hope it doesn't get, too creepy when you wake up and forget you bought it. It's staring at you in the corner.
I was asking some friends, like, what is the thing that people associate with you online? And people have tagged me for Bubsy and Daikatana, of course. But really, it's that Roadcraft game got a date. And everyone's like, "Hey, have you seen this?" I'm like, "Guys, yes, I knew about this before it was announced, and I've been following it Yes, I've been following it since it did get announced, and I went crazy. And apparently, you weren't paying attention to me then, because I went very crazy about it then. But yeah, and now it's got a release date, and yes, I'm very excited. Thank you for telling me about it. And then, Mike gets anything for Ridge Racer, stuff like that. They'll tag him on that. Sean says, "Thank you to everybody and their mothers for tagging me in this post this morning." So Sean has the life-size Pokemon plush thing on lock. So we're very happy for you.
I wish you both a happy and healthy life together. Nice job, guys.
Yep, there you go. All right, that does it for the headlines. Let us get to the poll question. Let me bring that up. That should be right here. All right, here we go. Have you played Indiana Jones and the Great Circle? You know what? Let me refresh this, make sure this is fully up to date. Yep. Have you played Indiana Jones and the Great Circle? This is from yesterday. 41% said yes and 59% said no. 41% of this audience saying yes, I've already played it is a pretty good result, for, especially when it's like, I think the majority of people watching this probably do play games on PlayStation. So when that thing does hit PlayStation, it's going to shoot up even more. So that's a pretty impressive result, I think. And I think word of mouth is going to continue to help that game, both on Steam and even Xbox. 4 million players, they said, Jason, for a game that is on Game Pass, and the Game Pass has, 25 to 30 million subscribers. So plenty of people left to tap there, let alone once the thing comes to PlayStation. So I think that game is finding its footing, right?
I agree. I think that number's a little low. I think more people should play it. But yes, I think once it hits PlayStation, and there's a lot of people who haven't actually touched it on Game Pass yet, or maybe just waiting for, as somebody said in chat, a rainy day or something that have a lot to do, and they can just sit down and get involved in it. I think that this number should shoot up in the not too distant future, and it deserves it because the game is great.
Real quick, Lance McDonald, who made the 60 frames per second patch for Bloodborne, has received a DMCA takedown notification from Sony Interactive Entertainment asking to remove the links, and he has. I wouldn't.
Could that be a good thing, or is that just Sony being pedantic 4 years after he launched the damn thing?
Yeah, I get wanting to look into this and be like, this means that they're doing their own. I just, everything I hear wants me to tell people, don't get optimistic. Don't get your hopes up about Bloodborne stuff anytime soon. And really kind of maybe never, but definitely not anytime soon. Okay. We got a new poll question. I will bring that up here in a second. In the meantime, though, Jason Fanelli, why don't you tell people where they can find you on the internet, what you have going on, all that good stuff?
I am at Big Man Fanelli on anything and everything that there is, socials. This is my third recording of the week. I've already done 2. One, my local sports radio station that my on hiatus podcast, Cheesesteaks and Controllers, was hosting. Joined up with some of the fellows to do a Royal Rumble roundtable, which airs live on the radio at 7:00 Eastern tonight. You can stream it on iHeartRadio, Fox PHL The Gambler, 102.5 FM here in Philadelphia. But there will also be an on-demand version at iHeartRadio as well if you find the radio's website. The radio station's website or site on iHeart, and foxphlthegambler.com. That does exist as well. So that one. And then I recorded earlier this week for Monday. I joined our friend who's hiding a Gardevoir in his basement, Jordan Midler, for the VGC roundtable talk on a certain game that's embargo breaks on Monday. I think I'm allowed to talk about it because we were able to preview it. I just didn't get a chance to. That will be Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Yeah, the people have had that game for a long time, huh?
Yes. So we'll have a nice chat about that coming up next week. Right after we are done with this, I have to go in and address the edits for my next Rolling Stone article, which should be out pretty soon. I'm very excited about that one. This was an interview I've wanted to do for a very long time. So the fact that I got to do that and talk about something really cool, I'm excited to share that with all of you. And yeah, Royal Rumble next Royal Rumble tomorrow. We'll do the numbers at the end here. That jersey right there, I don't know if you can see it in the frame, probably not. I'm very excited to put that back on February 9th. Go Birds. I see it in the chat. I appreciate y'all. It's exciting.
Yeah, I'm happy for you.
That's what's going on. If it wasn't me, I would have hoped it was you, but I'm glad I could carry this banner for you. I really could. I really do.
It was. We were doomed as soon as Hutch went down. That was the reality. We were fooling ourselves all year, but that is fine. There's always next season. There's always been next season.
Always.
So people are pointing out Jordan Midler is going to come from us. That is a terrifying proposition. That 6'2", 250-pound Scottish man with his eyes black with Pokemon lust.
About me, mate.
Yeah, just completely.
It's not very great of you.
Just looking at pictures of Pikachu and getting so horny and angry, and he would kill me. He would rip me in half, and I don't want to deal with that. So, I'm sorry, Jordan Midler. Please don't hurt me. Okay, new poll question. Would you still be surprised if Halo came to PlayStation? Yes or no? That is up on the community tab on youtube.com/@GiantBomb right now. I wouldn't be, but hey, vote with your heart. Some people still might be. You shouldn't be though. Not at this point, right?
No, I'm not. If you're surprised that Halo or any Xbox franchise is announced for PlayStation at any time. Don't be like, just get it out of your system. Get that console fanboy, console war stuff out of your system. Be done with it. Send it into the aether. It doesn't exist anymore. We are slow. We're not. I don't think we'll ever become a completely joined ecosystem, but there's a lot more handshaking and high fiving now, because that's where the money is.
Yep.
It was one of the levers they could pull to bring more money in, is to get rid of this exclusivity thing. It'll be timed, sure, but I don't think it's going. I think now, once the streams were crossed, you can't close that Pandora's box.
Yep, you're right.
Here we are.
Toothpaste out of the tube. All right, let's see here. We'll have the results of that poll on Game Mess Mornings on Giant Bomb on Monday. Can't think of any reason why that wouldn't happen. Look out for that. In the meantime, though, Jason Fanelli, thank you so much for hanging out with me and talking about video games today. I really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. Great way to start my weekend, hanging out with you, talking about some games and getting shoot hot. Sorry, everybody, got shoot hot.
Getting shoot hot. If you are watching live, thank you so much for watching. If you're listening later, thank you so much for listening. If you want to hang out with us more today, we will have BCR here in a very short time. We will have the UPF later. We're going to play Motor Town. We're all going to hang out and drive around in a city. It's going to be a good time. Look out for all that. And the BCR episode, by the way, is our music retrospective. It's what Sean's calling the Giant Bomb 2024 mixtape. We're going to have a listening party. So tune in for that today. It's going to be a good time. All right. Let's get out of here. Once again, thank you, Jason. Once again, thank you all. Until next time, you're the best audience in gaming. Have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.
Oh, no. He's here.
I pulled the